I was going to send you an article that had. I was going to send you an article that had a bunch of different paradigms in it.
I can hear the drums loud.
Right.
Maybe two.
Yeah.
All right. Glad you made that.
You were just playing? You jammed to?
Similar.
Yeah.
Lately, it's all like red.
Getting everything together? I bet, dude. It's tough.
Run over here.
Yeah. But I'm stressed out.
Anyway, we're about to start.
Like there won't be a Zoom meeting. I don't know when.
It's 9:56.
Okay. I know you're right.
Nice work, brother.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody? Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists. Is this on? Yeah. Okay. I could shout even louder. There it goes. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Studio City. I am Rick Hoyt-McDaniels, and I am the minister of this congregation. Here is the mission statement of this congregation. Ours is an inclusive religious community that inspires personal and spiritual growth. We care for one another. We strive for social justice, a healthy environment, and a peaceful world. Let's take that phrase by phrase. We are an inclusive community, meaning you are not only welcome here, you belong here. We really mean that. And we take it as our job to make you feel it. We are an inspiring community. This is a place of growth and learning, leading to transformation. We affirm every person's worth just as they are, but encourage everyone also to lifelong spiritual growth. We are a caring community. We help, we reach out, we speak kindly, we offer compassion. We are a justice-seeking community, not here only for ourselves, but for our neighbors in Studio City and beyond. We stretch our circle of concern to include all the human world and the earth we share with all forms of life, wishing and working for health for all and peace for all. I am so pleased to welcome you all here this morning. And if you are visiting here for the first time today, thank you for giving us the opportunity to practice our effusive and sincere welcome. I hope that you were greeted as you came in. I hope that you were invited to sign a visitor's card so we can add you to the address list for our weekly church email. If you didn't fill out the card on the way in, you can do so after the service, or you can always add your name to our mailing list by clicking on the newsletter sign up button on the front page of our website, uustudiocity.org. Enjoy your morning. Know that you are invited to join us again next Sunday, as well as to any of the church activities during the week that you are about to hear about. Welcome, everyone.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Ash, or Jenny Ash, and I am one of your co-treasurers on the Board of Trustees. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm here to tell you everything that he was talking about, all the things that are going on. So, as of last Sunday, at our board meeting, we approved a new mask policy. Although the board doesn't require proof of vaccination, we expect everyone is fully vaccinated as their age allows. We are continuing our policy of wearing masks during Sunday services. However, we are encouraging everyone to sing. Yay! At some services, we may be using hymnals. They will not be sanitized between each use, so a lot of times the words will be up here so you can do whatever you feel comfortable with. For meetings, during the week of the church service, anything 12 people or fewer, masks are recommended but not required. So for those joining us in the sanctuary, please wear masks during the services and sing at the top of your lungs. And for those of you who are Zooming, just sing right where you are. So now we are once again taking up a collection for the North Hollywood Interfaith Food Pantry. We're going to do it every service. You can bring stuff before the service or put it during the service right here in that basket. There are many food insecure folks living in the Studio City, North Hollywood area, and they can use your help. Please donate diapers, especially large, wipes, hearty cans of soup with flip-top lids, and peanut butter, no glass, please. Next, Reed Swanson, our board vice president and membership chair, is in the process of updating our online church directory with the names and contact information of everyone on the church's membership and friends list. He's in the process of expanding the online directory to include names, email addresses, home addresses, phone numbers. So even if we have some of your information, there may be more that he would like to include on that list. Reed would remind everyone that the online directory is password protected and only you know the password you created. There is additional information about the online church directory in this week's newsletter, but you can be added to the church directory. If you have any questions or want to opt out, please contact Reed. And now Joyce Fiddler is taking over for Steffi Prather of the task of finding people to donate flowers each Sunday. Many thanks to Steffi for her many years of beautiful bouquets. And lastly, there's going to be a memorial service for Ellen Anderson. September 19th, or tomorrow, at 2 p.m., we'll be having a service to celebrate the life of Ellen Anderson. Please join us in person or on Zoom. There'll be a reception immediately following the service. If you'd like to contribute to the reception, you may contact Christina Mathers, but they really could use a fruit platter and some appetizers. Thank you very much.
Please join me in our call to worship. I will read, and then you will read. You're supposed to read. Somebody. Well. Well, I can read both, but you're really supposed to read. Shall I wait, or shall I just go? There we go. There we go. All right. This is from The Fragmented World by Philip Hewitt. From the fragmented world of our everyday lives, we gather together in search of wholeness. Thank you. Yet we know that no branch is utterly severed from the tree of life that sustains us all. We would hold fast to all of good we inherit, even as we would leave behind us the outworn and the false. Let us labor in hope for the dawning of a new day without hatred, violence, and injustice. In this spirit we gather, in this spirit we pray.
And now it is my great pleasure to invite you in singing our opening hymn with me, number 290. Let's see. Bring, O past, your honor, bring, O time, your harvest, golden sheaves of hallowed lives and minds by truth made free. Come, you faithful spirits, builders of this temple, to holiness, to love and liberty. Ring in glad thanksgiving, bell of grief and gladness, forth to town and prairie let our festal greeting go. Comfort is long departed, in your tones re-echo, praise to the highest, peace to all below. Shrine of frontier courage, Sinai of its vision, home and hearth of common quest for life's immortal good. Stand in years oncoming, sentinel of conscience, as though the past your stalwart limbs have stood. Church of pure reformers, pioneers undaunted, company of comrades sworn to keep the spirit free. Long more life's swift river, reach the eternal gospel, faith, hope, and love for all humanity.
Behold the symbol of our faith, fed by differing beliefs, merging together to become one fine flame burning brightly in beloved community.
And please join me in the words of covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus do we covenant. And there's no song. Yes, stand for the song.
Thus ends the aerobic part of our worship service. We'll have to figure out the standing and the sitting, which is all new again with the new singing. This isn't what I had planned, but I walked into the church this morning and somebody had left this on my desk. Speak now, or maybe it was Barbara. I don't think she's here this morning. What I'm holding up, I know you can't see it, I could hold it this way too. It says, the ultimate Unitarian Universalist leader. And there's a drawing of a human figure, and then all of the parts of the person are labeled. And I thought this was helpful, not just for me, it's for leaders, not just the minister, but for all of us as you leaders. And we've been talking about identity issues. So here are some things that would be part of the ultimate Unitarian Universalist leader. It starts with, at the top, an open mind to entertain new ideas. Sounds good, right? With me so far. Then for the eyes, it says clear vision to see both what is and what can be. For the ears, it says listening ability, which leads to understanding. And then it says, this one, there's sort of a dotted line between the brain and the mouth. And it says brain-mouth coordination. It promotes saying what you mean. For the heart, it says healthy emotions, allowing caring, concern, and commitment. Hands, caring hands used for touching when words are insufficient. Then around the waist, there's a belt with a bag hanging down that's labeled the bag of tricks, tools and techniques for working with groups. The knee, it says flexible joints, which bend when appropriate. Movable feet for changing position and when new understanding dictates. And on the bottom, the figure standing on ground, and it says, I'm firm grounding in Unitarian Universalist values. Nice, huh? The only thing I would add is also a sense of humor. I don't know where you find that in the body. Oh, the elbow. Yeah, we should add a sense of humor. And then I like to stand, and this is my point of my sermon today, is not only am I grounded in our Unitarian Universalist values, but I'm grounded in my Unitarian Universalist history and tradition. So we'll talk about that later in the sermon.
Our spiritual path as Unitarian Universalists is often described as connection. When we are together, when we are helping, when we act in mutual concern. Earnings is one way, wait a minute, yes, here we go. Earnings is one way of adding together to make us all strong. What I'm doing is asking for money. I think you gathered that I'm leading up to that.
When you ask for money, you need to be ready to.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm sorry. For those in the sanctuary, your cell phone can scan the QR code posted on the beam, or a friend will walk around to collect your offering. For our many congregants on Zoom, you may donate through our website, uucsc.org, or by mailing a check. We have bills to pay. Let's all chip in and pay them.
Good morning. My name's Jackie Davis, and I'm a new member here as of a few weeks ago. And I'll be reading the joys and sorrows today. Because we are a community and care about one another, we like to share the events of our lives, both the joyous ones and the sad ones. If you're at home and would like to share something with us, please write it in the chat box while the music plays. Here in the sanctuary, if you would like, we invite you to come forward and drop a stone in our community bowl. Carol Bennett will be reading them from Zoom today. Please come on up and bring a stone. When a sorrow is shared, it is lessened, and when a joy is shared, it is multiplied in that spirit. Terry Hasman-Pollan has a joy. Jean and I are joyful to report that granddaughter Maria is back at Sarah Lawrence College and is thoroughly enjoying her classes. Lexi has a joy. Amy began her position on September 12th at the VA as medical assistant. Due to a long wait list to get into an RN program, she shifted her goals. Send good vibes her way. Rich Suter and Christina Mathers. We are happy that our oldest granddaughter, Rachel, is the head flutist for the University of Montana Marching Band and a freshman there. Chris Kirschner, joy today. I celebrate my husband's 66th birthday. He is in Madrid on a COVID-postponed trip, enjoying our memories there. And this is a joy that I wanted to share. My 15-year-old cousin Sophie was diagnosed with osteosarcoma 1 year ago, and after a brutal year of chemo and a major surgery to replace part of her leg, she's cancer-free 1 year later. And she gets to attend her sophomore year of high school in person. Okay, Carol, can you read the joys and sorrows over Zoom, please?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carol Bennett, and my pronouns are she, her. Greg Mooring has a joy. The show I'm in at the El Portal Theater is closing this afternoon. I'm grateful for the friends from this community who have come to see me in my first performance on stage, besides the choir, since the pre-COVID days, and then a happy face. William Rapp has a joy. I'm enjoying hearing Reverend Rick sharing his thoughts and contemplations with us each week. Go Rick. Dale has a joy. Fortunately, my late husband was able to escape his native Austria. Ken Burns has made a new series, The U.S. and the Holocaust. The first of 3 programs will be on PBS SoCal tonight. This should be of special interest to you Unitarians. And I believe that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. We end by honoring all the joys and sorrows kept in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. May we all be warmed in the embrace of our community.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Carol. Where are my glasses? Take a few moments to meditate with me. I invite you to move your body into a comfortable position. If your feet are flat on the floor, you will feel grounded. If your arms are resting easily in your lap with your palms up, you will feel open. If your eyes are closed, you will focus more internally. Notice your breathing. Relax. Relax. Now bring to your awareness the name of someone suffering this morning, someone in pain. Perhaps the name of a friend or a family member or a person in this community, perhaps yourself. Someone close to you or perhaps a stranger to you who has come into your awareness. Maybe the first name that occurred to you is the one that's most present this morning. Now silently to yourself, say this person's name to yourself. And if you don't know the name, say simply and silently, loved one, beautiful one. Feel your heart connect to this person. Direct your spirit toward this person. Touch them with your care and concern. Surround this person with love and healing. Now imagine this person surrounded by a divine warm light flowing from you to them, a white light that contains all the colors of the rainbow, a light that is gifting this person today with exactly the healing they need. Keep breathing. Keep sending your spirit. Stay with this person as you need to. The light is lifting their spirit. The cells of their body are responding. They are feeling a warm embrace. They are feeling a quiet peace. They are feeling an ease of anxiety. They are feeling hope. As you are ready, whisper a final blessing and return your attention to your own breath. Sit with yourself a moment. Lift one hand to your heart. Feel the source of compassion. Bless yourself. Gently open your eyes. Take a deep breath. Namaste. We had so much fun putting that anthem together. If you'd like to join the choir, we sing every Tuesday evening, and you are welcome to come. This fall, here at church, we're trying out many different answers to the spiritual questions, who am I and who are we? The question of identity is one of the essential spiritual questions. Every religion tackles it. Every religion offers an answer, or at least encourages us to explore the mystery. Are we stardust? Are we spiritual beings having a bodily experience? When we look deep inside, is there only muscle and organs, or can we find a soul? Or is the spark of consciousness that gives rise to thoughts and feelings what we mean when we say human soul? Are we kin to other animals or a special creation? Is there an immortal part of us that will survive the end of our physical selves, maybe to be reincarnated for another round of existence? Or is this life all there is? Or will we live forever pretty much as we are now? Or at death, will we be released entirely from this personal form of existence to disappear into pure consciousness or merge into a universal divinity like a wave pushed up for a brief moment and then sinking back into the sea from where we came? The questions, who am I and who are we, are basic questions for anyone on a spiritual path. The question, who are we, is also a fundamental question for a congregation in transition, as this one is, as we embark on an interim period between the end of one settled ministry and the beginning of the next. Who are we as a congregation? Who are we, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Studio City? You may have felt the answer to that question was certain a few years ago, and then perhaps more recently the answer became a little confused, not so certain. It turned out we didn't all agree on who we were. That disagreement led to conflict, and in that conflicted environment, it became impossible for the congregation to walk confidently together. Leadership didn't know where we wanted to go, or thought they did, but really didn't. So leaders pushed and prodded, maybe a little too hard. Some of you felt confirmed, others felt offended. That got leaders into trouble, or they made trouble for themselves. Anxiety rose, the congregation pulled against itself, and then the cloth began to tear, and finally to rip. So now that the question of congregational identity has been broken up, the question is clear, but the answer is not. So we have an opportunity to do some self-reflection to see if we can answer the question confidently and clearly again. Who are we? We are, in the words of Reverend Anna Lyons-Levy from the anthem that the choir just sang, feeling afield and alone, voyaging far from our home. We are out in the wilderness now, to use another spiritual metaphor, or we're wandering in the desert. The church home where we have lived comfortably began to feel uncomfortable and constraining, no longer a good fit for the paths our restless spirits longed to travel. But now we find ourselves afield and alone, voyaging far from our home. It feels a little frightening. We're not sure whether it's best to just turn back to the familiar, if that's even possible, or whether now is the chance to courageously push forward into some new way of being, to give birth to some new identity. We are, again in the words of Reverend Anna Lyons-Levy, minister of the Unitarian Church in Brooklyn, lost in our soul, nothing to ease or console. You might know the phrase, dark night of the soul, from the 16th century Christian mystic St. John of the Cross. It's a place of fearful transition. The old ways fall away. The previous sources of comfort and certainty no longer satisfy. Doubt fills our minds. You might call it an existential crisis, or a descent into the underworld, or rock bottom. But what you may not know is that in the poem of St. John the Cross, where we get the phrase, the dark night of the soul, the journey is not presented as a disaster, but as a glorious gift. In the poem, the mystic leaves his house in the middle of the night. The house is at rest, the night is quiet. The mystic goes by himself unobserved into the darkness. He says there is no light except the light of his own heart burning and leading him toward the divine. But that soul light, the light of his own burning passion for a new way of being, is enough. It's a light brighter than the noonday, he says. His light leads the mystic through the dark night of the soul to his divine lover. There, the divine lover frees the mystic of all worldly connections. His mind is made clear of all mundane thoughts. His heart is filled with all-consuming love. The mystic enters oblivion, but not unhappily. He says in the poem, "Oh, happy lot." The dark night of the soul is the fearsome place of disintegration of the old way of being, but it's an old way of being that didn't serve, and it leads, if we make our way through it, to a new liberation. The mystic shows the way, but while we're in the dark, it is a troubling, disturbing place. We're adrift, we're searching, and we're aching. So then, here is where Reverend Lyons Levy tells us we can find the comfort and strength that we need. Again, in the words from our anthem, she says, as Unitarian Universalists, we are grounded and guided in three places. We are grounded and guided by the spark of the Spirit we carry inside. Grounded and guided by our beautiful bodies of power and pride, by the blazing chorus of those who came before us. These are our ground and our guide. When we're feeling afield and alone, there are three places we can turn to know that we are still connected in the ways that we need to be and following a sure path to a healthy future. First, we are grounded and guided by the spark of the Spirit we carry inside. A bit of theology there, also related to the question of identity. We, each of us in our human natures, also carry a reflection of the divine essence. Howard Thurman called it my high resolve. Emerson called it the oversoul. You might call it your higher power or your conscience or the inner light. This spark of the Spirit is within us even when all around us turns dark. And this is exactly what St. John of the Cross describes, a light from your own hope and determination that turns dark midnight to noon. And next, we are grounded and guided by our beautiful bodies of power and pride. Again, says Reverend Lyons Levy, we can turn towards ourselves, this time meaning our physical selves. We are people who can get it done. We can change the world and our own lives. It's a very Unitarian answer to say that we ourselves can be the source of our own comfort and strength. Where others might turn outward to God or Scripture or a guru, the Unitarian Universalist faith begins from the understanding that each of us is a person of inherent worth and dignity with unique gifts that belong to us alone. We are made good, we are precious, not perfect, but capable of self-improvement, capable of learning, capable of bringing our flawed persons into a community like this one and getting better. The first source of our faith is our own direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us toward a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. When we are in a dark night of the soul, when we need a renewal of the spirit, we can turn to ourselves, our own connection, which we experience through our bodies with that transcendent world all around us. We can, in the vision of St. John of the Cross, venture forth and meet the divine as a lover meets his love and be transformed. And third, Reverend Lyons Levy gives us one more place to look when we're feeling afield and alone. She says to look to our faith tradition. Our honored ancestors, the choir sang, "By the blazing chorus of those who came before us." These are our ground and our guide. Last week, I suggested that one way to answer the question, who are we, is to look around the room. We are this congregation. We are the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Studio City. Amen. And then I complicated that answer by pointing out that who exactly is a member of this congregation is always a little ambiguous. And in any case, the membership of a church is constantly changing, and well, it must if a congregation plans on lasting for longer than a single generation. This church has been around for almost 80 years already. We are not who we were. Moment by moment, week by week, who we are as a congregation is always changing. And yet there is something that connects us across the longer than a human lifetime of a church. Though the founders are not here today, we are the church they were in some real way. The church 80 years from now will be our church too, in a way that gives meaning to our work today. And we can hope that the church 80 years from now will look back on us with the same gratitude and respect with which we look back at the founders of the church. So the answer to the question of who we are as a congregation must stretch a little. We stretch from who we are today to include who we have been and who we will be, but the definition can stretch a little further than that too, and perhaps should, because we aren't the only Unitarian Universalist congregation meeting this morning. That's the horizontal dimension of our faith. We are everyone, everywhere, who calls themselves Unitarian Universalist. And in the vertical dimension of our faith, everyone who ever has or ever will call themselves Unitarian Universalist. That's us too. That's who we are. So here's an answer to the question, who are we? We are Unitarian Universalists. Two liberal Christian denominations that merged in 1961. The Universalist Church of America and the American Unitarian Association had institutional roots in the United States going back to the 18th century. And before that, there were Unitarian churches since the 1500s in parts of Eastern Europe. Prior to that, Unitarian and Universalist ideas had always floated around the edges of Orthodox Christian theology, going all the way back to the 4th century Council of Nicaea and among the original followers of Jesus. Who are we? We are the people who are the current holders of those age-old ideas. We are the folks cradling those ancient sparks. We are the resistance forces who, against all odds, continue to raise the ancient heresies. The Unitarian heresy that says God alone is God, and Jesus was an inspiring teacher and radical social activist intent on reforming the political and religious powers of his time in order to create a world where power and wealth are put at the service of the poor and society's outcasts. The Universalist heresy that says God's ultimate character is love, love, and love above all, and that eventually all creation will be brought into the single divine embrace, everyone included, God's infinite patience outlasting even the most recalcitrant sinner. The Unitarian heresy that says human individuals are smart enough, strong enough, and good enough to save ourselves under our own power without supernatural assistance. The Universalist heresy that affirms our human interdependence with all existence. The Unitarian heresy that says we are born free from any stain of original sin. Instead, we can follow human teachers and human examples to create lives of health and joy for ourselves and for each other and for the world we share. The Unitarian and Universalist heresy that eventually brought us together into a single association of congregations that says it is in this world that we are called to do the work of salvation, not the next. That the power of people and the love of God for all calls us here and now to human work that removes the systems and structures of a society that prevents people from expressing freely and fully the glorious creature they were made to be, and tragically prevents them from feeling the full blessing of being made by love, with love, and for love. The word heresy is derived from a Greek word, hairises, which means a people who choose beliefs for themselves. That's a pretty good definition of Unitarian Universalism. We are a people who choose for ourselves. The challenge then for such a people is how, being true to the principle that each of us is a glorious individual following their own path, lighted by the spark of their own divine light, how can we come together as we need to with other blessed individuals to create community? To work together, to build strong institutions, to choose our common leaders and give them clear direction and faithful community support? How do we stay grounded and guided both in the spark of the Spirit we carry inside and the blazing chorus of those who came before us? How did our ancestors ever get to be a blazing chorus, with each of them singing their own tune? That, I think, is a perennial challenge for Unitarian Universalists that affords no easy answer at the end of a sermon. But let me just say this. How do we turn our inspiring individuality into the strength of community? By accepting a little help from our friends, in the words of Lennon and McCartney. Of course, the Beatles broke up only a few years after recording that song. Maybe by remembering that we are Universalists as well as Unitarians. That maybe that divine spark you know in your chest is actually a piece of a single divine spark that burns just the same in the next person's chest and every person's chest. By imagining that when we leave our safe homes in the middle of the night to go searching for something good and true and beautiful, that the same light is guiding all of us. And that the divine lover we eventually encounter is the same eternal lover of us all. How do we answer the question, who am I, in a way that allows us to make a clear and confident answer to the equally important question for a congregation, who are we? How about this idea from Philip Hewitt, Unitarian minister who served churches throughout Canada and lent us this morning's text for our call to worship? He says, "By many cares and preoccupations, by diverse and selfish aims, are we separated from one another and divided within ourselves? Yet we know that no branch is utterly severed from the tree of life that connects us all. We cherish our oneness with those around us and the countless generations that have gone before us. Let us nurture the growth in our own lives of the love that has shone in the lives of the greatest of men and women, the rays of whose lamps still illumine our way. May it be so. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, number 295 from our hymnal. The words will be on the screen behind me.
Sing out praises for the journey, pilgrims we who carry on, searchers in the soul's deep yearnings, like our forebears in their time. We seek out the Spirit's wholeness in the endless human quest. Look inside your souls, the kindling of the hearth fire, pilgrims new. Find the Spirit always restless, find it in each mind and heart. Touch and hold that ancient yearning, kindling for a newfound truth. Stand we now upon the threshold, facing futures yet unknown. Hearth behind us, wayside hostel, built by those who knew wild roads. Guard we ere their sacred embers, carried in our minds and hearts.
Please remain standing as I say the benediction and we extinguish the chalice. These are words of V. Emil Gudmundsson. And now, may we have faith in life to do wise planting, that the generations to come may reap even more abundantly than we. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice. This we ask, that the fields of promise become fields of reality.
This is a sing-along.
You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well. Their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one that picks, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, and know they love you.
stepped on you, I blew it out.
Oh, okay, that's why. Well, okay. Go your ways, knowing not the answers to all things, yet seeking always the answer to one more thing than you know. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Renee. Sorry about that, I kind of stepped on you. Like that?